A soldier did an amazing surprise for his family during college football game and made everybody cry. Any kind of adversity brings people together far more closely than anything else in this life. The close-knit families become even more devoted when they come through the trials, tribulations, stress, heartache, and joy. We always ask the same question: what is the meaning of life? The common answer to it literally doesn't exist. We get our own answers based upon various experiences and a number of humanistic situations. The Fails' family love and devotion to each other were tested oodles of times, but they proved they are strong enough to be happy. And now, let's be honest here, life is truly a series of tests. The way we react is the key to who we are. The way we respond to adversity is often a revealing exercise that shows the person's true nature. Iconic basketball coach John Wooden once said, "Adversity is the state in which man easily becomes acquainted with himself, being especially free of admirers then." The Fail family is from Augusta, Georgia. Scott, a father of 3 and a loving husband, has been stationed overseas in the United States Army on 3 separate tours of duty. His wife Tammy, with their children, were forced to live for months without their caring and so beloved linchpin. One day, Tammy and 2 of her children decided to attend a college football game between the Georgia Bulldogs and the South Carolina Gamecocks. Little did they know what was about to happen to them that afternoon. Turning back to Scott, he, Army Sergeant First Class, and his family were born in Kershaw, North Carolina. Due to Fail's high position within the United States military, the families had to move away from their hometown. The Fail family now lives in Fort Gordon in Augusta, Georgia. Scott had to go on tours in Kuwait, Afghanistan, and South Korea. To make it clearer, a general tour of duty for soldiers can last from half a year to 4 years. It was unknown for the family when Scott would come back home. One can be assured he missed out on oodles of family events, including birthdays, school plays, sporting events, and all sorts of family celebrations. Even though the Fail family was forced to move to Georgia out of necessity, they still had an incredibly strong bond with their roots in South Carolina. They deeply loved the University of South Carolina, in particular, the football game. It was a source of solace, nostalgia, and complete enjoyment for them. On October 6, 2012, an unbeatable South Carolina team was playing against fellow unblemished squad Georgia in a massive SEC East showdown. Both teams were ranked within the top 10 and had burning ambitions to win a national championship. The game had to be played at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. This game was a solid hype everybody wanted to see with their own eyes. The fans of both squads desired to see which team would come out victorious. Duly, the ticket prices were incredible. They doubled in anticipation of the contest. Those having not enough money ended up enjoying the game from the comforts of their home. The Fail family was one of such families who had already stocked up with homemade popcorn and expected to see the game from the screens of their TV. However, they had been chosen by the Columbia Metropolitan Airport as the military family of the game. A lot of universities respect and pay tribute to military personnel and to their families for the sacrifices they've made. Nevertheless, this case was far from an ordinary message of thanks up on the Jumbotron. Without the knowledge of his family, Scott had been preparing for this day for 3 months. He had emailed over 50 members of the University of South Carolina and hoped to create a special surprise for his beloved wife and children. After blindly emailing the students, he finally reached Kaela Harmon, who was the stimulating force behind this crazy idea. Scott reached his family and told them they got the tickets to the South Carolina-Georgia game. Moreover, Fail told his wife that he had rolled them into a contest on the Southeastern Conference website. When the man informed them they had won the contest, the family was in 7th heaven. They didn't have any idea that seeing a game in person would be a little part of the massive scenario Scott had made up. Harmon and her team of employees were amazed when they heard Fail's story. She works as a public relations manager with the Columbia Metropolitan Airport, as well as for the University of South Carolina. Thanks to her job, Harmon easily provided the family with this incredibly emotional opportunity. When everything was arranged, the Fail family traveled from Fort Gordon right to Columbia, South Carolina for the match. There was a lot of tension as the number 6 South Carolina Gamecocks were leading the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs by a score of 21-0 at halftime. The family didn't have an opportunity to see the first half success. However, they were lucky to get an on-field presentation during halftime of the game. There were the eyes of 85,000 fans staring at the Fail family at a time. 2 cheerleaders flanked Tammy, daughter Brianna, and son Cameron as the people started applauding them. The family was introduced by the stadium's vocal operator. The crowd was informed about the status of Scott, currently located abroad in South Korea. Scott had won the famed Service Medal and the National Defense Service Medal with Bronze Star. The stadium's vocal operator pitched the entire crowd towards the Jumbotron. Once the voice of Scott reverberated throughout the stadium, the family got instantly emotional. They didn't expect to see or to hear Scott during the game at all. When the man started talking about more personal things, both Tammy and Brianna began shedding tears. Scott's words were deep and genuine. He started with addressing his wife. "People don't realize the sacrifices you guys make as a family to both myself and to the military. To my wife, the sacrifices you make are unbelievable. You sacrificed your job, you sacrificed your friends that you grew up with, and especially getting a big home with your family." Scott then spoke to Brianna and Cameron. "To my children, I can't believe the stuff that you have to go through. It seems like every time you get to a new school and make new friends, we have to turn around and leave. Most fathers pride themselves as wanting their family to look up to them. I have to admit, I'm the one that looks up to y'all." In the end, Scott thanked one more group for this amazing opportunity for himself and his family. "I'd like to thank the University of South Carolina and the Columbia Metropolitan Airport for giving my family this opportunity. This is something that they'll remember for the rest of their lives. I'm kind of jealous because I would really like to be there to see the Gamecocks beat up on the Dogs today." When Scott finished his monologue, the 85,000 fans cheered vociferously in unison. It sounded like one huge roar of emotion and excitement. All the people at the stadium were touched by Scott's patriotic speech. Then, the man asked the family to not be too emotional as they had to watch the second half of the contest. However, he didn't mention the most important detail. In fact, Scott had secretly been at the game the entire time. His deployment had finished, but he didn't inform his family about such a big occasion. He made the biggest surprise and reunited with his family in a special way. The crowd rose in the screams, yells, and those bawling in the stands. There was no difference whether you were a Georgia or South Carolina fan that day. Everyone in Williams-Brice Stadium was positively surprised by this utter and pure moment. Moreover, the family's favorite team won the game, as the Gamecocks smashed the Bulldogs by a score of 35-7. Scott Fail is a real example of many servicemen and servicewomen who risk their lives every day for the safety of Americans, as well as the protection of our freedoms and rights. When you are far away from your family while risking your life and facing danger, it's definitely too complicated to deal with. However, they find enough courage and strength to do so. When the Fail family remembers that day, their eyes start shining with happiness. When turning back to the atmosphere at the stadium, the whole competition took a back seat for a while as thousands of people witnessed the incredible reunion of a loving family.